Love your enemies. Matthew chapter 5, verses 43 to 47. You have heard that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies, and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? Matthew chapter 5, verses 43 to 47. Dear beloved disciples, greetings. Today let's listen to one of the Jesus sayings recorded in Matthew's Gospel. Please read these words with a heart ready to hear Jesus' very own voice. Jesus spoke many things, and not a few of them are hard to understand. Among them, the word in Matthew chapter 5, verse 44 is especially difficult to grasp and even harder to put into practice. Love your enemies. When Jesus spoke, the situation in Judea was extremely complex. The great Roman Empire ruled the region through governors. Locally, the Herodian dynasty held authority, and religiously, the Sanhedrin Council exercised power. Judea was at once a Roman colony, and yet allowed limited self-rule. For the Jewish people, the Jerusalem temple was their final fortress. Beyond that, Jewish synagogues were scattered throughout the Roman world, in today's Turkey, Syria, Egypt, Libya, and beyond. During the feasts, Jews from all over would gather again in Jerusalem. In such a time, many longed for the liberation of Israel. Yet Rome's power was overwhelming. Though there was a yearning for independence, it couldn't be carried out. And in this very context, Jesus said, love your enemies. The Jews desired the Messiah, but in truth, Jesus was not the one who would deliver them from Rome's oppression. He was not the Messiah who would build the kingdom of Israel as they expected. Many would have been disappointed. And then, to hear him say, love your enemies, how could that possibly be? To follow Jesus is indeed a hard thing. With our lips, anyone can say, I love. But to live it out is another matter. So first, we must understand his words. Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is near. What is this kingdom of heaven? It is not merely a faraway place in the skies, but the kingdom of God. The rule of God that anyone who receives it may enter. Beloved saints, God created humankind in his own image. Therefore, each person is the image of God, and in this sense, each person is the very space of God's kingdom, heaven itself. If this is true, how can we hate another person? Even an enemy is still God's image. That is why we must first love. Of course, sin itself must be hated, but not the person. Jesus said, but I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. And indeed, he told us to pray for our persecutors. Now, how does one become an enemy? When a person forgets that they are made in God's image, they become estranged. And when an evil heart is added to this, enmity is born. Yet if we keep enemies in our hearts, can our hearts remain at peace? No. Such inner hostility creates sickness, not for the enemy, but for the one harboring hatred. Do you have someone you cannot forgive? Then remember, you are heaven. Even if it is hard, if you recall the words of Jesus, and remember that you are truly brothers and sisters in him, then you will find strength to love even your enemies. When you keep the words of Jesus in your heart and make them your spiritual food, the seed of life will sprout within you. You will become a tree of life in which even the birds may rest, a living heaven. Enemies belong to the old world. In the new world, the world of the new covenant, we must become new people, reborn through the words of Jesus. The old world was the world of the law, the Old Testament. But now is a new world. 2,000 years ago, Jesus opened this new world, but humanity was not ready to receive his words fully. That is why, for 2,000 years, people have fought and made enemies. Even in modern times, under the banner of imperialism, Christianity itself has cooperated in the conquest of weaker nations. This too is part of Christianity's history of sin. But today, at last, the time has come to receive the words of Jesus in their fullness. The time has come to open the new world. Now the conditions exist for a true age of peace, the time when the true meaning of Jesus' words can be lived out. And what do we need in this time? The study of Jesus' spirituality. Through Jesus' spirituality, we can practice his words, and the kingdom of God can truly be realized here on earth. This is our calling. So who must be reborn first? I must. We must. We must first accept the new world. This is the meaning of Jesus' spirituality. That is all for today's message. May you always dwell in peace. Thank you.